We'll be also going live, Facebook Live, once the session is started. A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all. I, Ms. Shraddha, welcome you all on this beautiful morning. Today, we have gathered here on a virtual platform for a panel discussion on the topic Career Opportunities and Challenges in Digital Media Industry. The advancement of science and the diffusion of information is the best element to true liberty, a quote by James Madison. On behalf of DYPIMR, I would like to welcome eminent panelist Mr. Sumedh Gupte, Senior Manager at Business Standard Pune, Mr. Yogesh Borate, Faculty at Department of Communication and Journalism, SPPU, Mr. Rishikesh Joshi, Freelancer Journalist, Australia, Mr. Swapnil Malpathak, Head of Digital Business at Sakal Media Group, Dr. Meghna Bilare, Director, DYPIMR, Dr. Vishal Vadachkar sir, Associate Director, Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management and Research. Inspiration is the most important part of our digital strategy. Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management and Research, Pimpri, was established in the year 1994. The institute integrates knowledge, research, industry experience, and international exposure to offer comprehensive management programs. Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management and Research, Pimpri, has been accorded with A grade by National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC, with CGPA of 3.29 on a 4-point scale. The institute has also been re-accredited by National Board of Accreditation, NBA, for MBA program and awarded with Best College Award 2019 by Savitribai Phule Pune University. We are also offering MBA in digital marketing. In fact, we are the first institute offering MBA in digital marketing under SPPU. The rise of digital media marks not only the worldwide movement, but also the creation of an entirely new industry. This opens up a plethora of opportunities for those seeking to work in the digital media industry, which includes the video game industry, app development, graphic design, and much more. A range of professionals work in the digital media industry. Today's panel discussion on the topic, Career Opportunities and Challenges in Digital Media Industry in association with Business Standard. Now, I request Dr. Meghna Bilare, Madam, Director DYPIMR, to deliver a welcome address.
Thank you, Shraddha. A very good morning to all the panelists and dear students. I extend my warm thanks to panelists Swapnil sir, Yogesh sir, Rishikesh sir, Ankit and Sumedh sir for being with us today for this panel discussion on challenges and opportunities in media industry. This event we are hosting in association with Business Standard as we are introducing MBA Digital Marketing course this year affiliated to Pune University. And the purpose of this panel discussion was to orient students about the digital marketing from the media perspective. Because media and entertainment marketing is an integral part of digital marketing now, and the reach and the size of the audience are really unparalleled in case of media and entertainment marketing. And it's only because of media industry we all have come to know about the digital promotions, branding of the products for past so many years. And this pandemic for sure has proved that to sustain and remain in the market, we really need to have a digital presence. Let it be a small traders or startups, they all have made their presence via various social platforms. But along with this, other side also we need to understand that what are the challenges and opportunities media industry has, as it is one of the most sought out industry for job prospects for this generation, and even it has a lot of scope for becoming upcoming entrepreneurs. So I feel today's discussion would definitely give a lot of insights to the students to understand the media industry and it will help them to understand the effect and impact of the digital marketing on it. So welcome once again to all the panelists and thank you for being with us today. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an inspiring words. We always feel energetic to work under your dynamic leadership. Today, we have with us today's moderator, Mr. Sumedh Gupte, Regional Head, Business Standard. Currently, he is working as a regional head for one of the most respected Financial Delhi, Business Standard. This has 14 publication centers and 18 editions in 2 languages across India. Mr. Sumedh sir is graduate from Pune University and has also done his diploma in business administration from Mumbai University. Mr. Sumit sir has been in the print media industry for more than 2 decades, mainly responsible for circulation, advertising, branding, marketing, and product development. Sir is having a vast experience in the area of brand and product head in Indian Express India Private Limited for Indian Express, Daily Lok Satta, and Lok Prabha Weekly magazine. He has conducted successful launch of Midday Pune and Sakal newspaper in Aurangabad edition. He has headed several new projects, including new editions and product launches for newspapers like Indian Express and Sakal Group of Publication. In Dainik Bhaskar Group, he has developed the rest of Maharashtra and Goa region. Now, I request Dr. Meghna Madam to kindly virtually felicitate our today's guest and moderator, Mr. Sumit Gupte sir.
Welcome, Sumit sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is a good idea.
Thank you, sir. We have with us very eminent panel members today. To start with this, we have Mr. Rishikesh Doshi, sir. He is a freelancer journalist in the Greater Sydney area, Australia. He is a media professional with specialization in the business journalism over a decade, also associated with Business Standard for more than 7 years. Now, I request Meghna ma'am to kindly felicitate Rishikesh, sir. We have with us Mr. Yogesh Burate, sir. He is a faculty of Department of Communication and Journalism, Pune, also worked as a journalist in Pune. He has completed master's degree in mass communication and journalism. After having an experience as a reporter for around 6 years, he had joined teaching profession. He has also written a book named The Page Book and a social media published by Atha Publication. I request ma'am to kindly felicitate Yogesh, sir. We also have with us.
Shraddha ma'am.
Yes, sir.
At the time of Rishikesh sir, we by mistake we had this slide. So can we have a repetition?
I request,
It's okay. It's okay.
I request
Please continue.
Ravi sir to kindly have Rishikesh sir.
No, it's okay. It's all virtual, so it doesn't matter. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We also have with us Mr. Swapnil Malpathak, sir, Head of Digital Business at Sakal Media Group. He is passionate, experienced, data-informed, and insights-driven international digital marketer with 8+ years of proven experience in building successful anti-fragile businesses from scratch. He is a certified professional who has designed a multi-channel digital strategies for established and emerging B2B and B2C brands with core focus on brand awareness, visibility, customer acquisition, nurturing, and retention across paid, owned, and earned media channels, including trade shows, events, partnerships, specializes in early stage traction, and establishing a growth channel, SEO, PPC, affiliated marketing, customer research, and messaging. I request Meghna ma'am to kindly felicitate Swapnil, sir. We have with us Mr. Ankit Bhargava, sir. Sir is a Chief Executive Officer of Foxberry Technologies. Prior to setting up Foxberry Technologies, he has worked with the companies such as Infosys, SL Group, Zlearn, and Sakal Media Group. Mr. Ankit brings extensive experience in product planning and development, smart solutions, and smart cities, having set up several businesses and digital products with focus on citizen engagement, cybersecurity, fintech, GIS education, digital support system, data governance, etc. He has delivered consulting assignment and delivered solution for cities like Thane, Pune, Pimpri-Chinchwad, Nashik, and state of Maharashtra. He is a regular speaker on the strategy at various industry and students platforms. I request ma'am to kindly felicitate Ankit, sir. It's our pleasure to get connected with such an eminent speaker. Now, I request Mr. Sumit, sir, today's moderator, to give opening remarks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Now, today's session, as everybody knows, as madam has already been cleared, that it is about the digital career opportunities and challenges in front of us after this pandemic situations. I think it is a very good platform which we had opened, okay, for the students. So definitely with this eminent personality, experienced personality, students should take a maximum learning. And at the end of the session, we'll have a question and answer. So those who have questions can put it into the chat box so we can take some few questions after our panel discussions program. Meanwhile, I'll welcome all the panelists who has come for the panel discussion. Rishikesh from Sydney, then Yogesh from this Pune, then Swapnil from Pune, and Ankit sir from Bombay. Basically, if you see, most of the panelists has worked with Sakal. So there is like a joint venture between DY Patil, Business Standard, and Sakal. Because myself, Swapnil, Yogesh is also writing for Sakal. I think Rishikesh had been contributed little bit for Sakal when he was in Pune. So majority people are from Sakal group. So let's take this opportunity and take a maximum output from this, okay, from this inside digital media industry. Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit sir. Now I request Mr. Rishikesh Joshi sir to give opening remarks.
Oh, thank you very much. I welcome you all on this great panel discussion, and I'm very much honored being on this platform. It's good to see all of old friends to be on the same platform. And when I was with Business Standard, we used to organize many programs in different management colleges to just run the campaign, and I used to deliver lectures on media. Those were the really good old days and the golden days of my career. And of course, thanks to Sumit sir, and he was very much instrumental in all these activities. So I again welcome all of you, and I hope this will be a great discussion altogether. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Swapnil sir, Head of Digital Business, to give opening remarks.
Thank you, Shraddha ma'am. And first of all, a great, I think, from the bottom of my heart, I would say a big thank you to DY Patil Institutes, because a course in digital marketing, that too at management level, was the need of this hour. Being based in Pune and sourcing talent for digital is a big task. We have to hire people from Mumbai, we have to hire people from Delhi, Bangalore, but both me and Ankit, we've been struggling with hiring talent in Pune. And this course gives us an opportunity to tap into the local talent pool, which is brought up in the Pune ecosystem. They understand Pune, they understand Maharashtra. That is what we are looking for. So also it's a great honor to be on the panel with such great personalities, all ex-Sakar people. So we are practically family, ex-Sakar and current people. So I've been in the media domain for 3 years, but I've been in digital marketing since 8 years. So media, although I might have limited contacts amongst journalists, but yes, of course, the tech background and the digital marketing background is where I can contribute. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I request Mr. Ankit sir to kindly deliver opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning to the esteemed panelists. Great crowd, and I must really appreciate DY Patil College and Dr. Meghna in particular for arranging such an esteemed panel. I think one of the key things that I think Swapnil already covered some part of it, that we are facing a huge talent crunch in digital marketing. There is of course, there is a need, but the problem is that while we have enough youth, the challenge is that this new age media and communication is still something which is very nascent in educational institutions. And while the industry, due to its clientele, is moving forward at a breakneck speed, the education systems are not keeping up, which is why, a course like this with, faculty who are right now in the industry working on communication campaigns like COVID, would really be appreciated, because the time to market for communication has reduced drastically. When we had newspapers, the approximate time for a communication to seep in was about 24 hours, and we used to think that's too quick, right? We used to think that a newspaper goes early in the morning, and then you have 24 hours, it gets read, it gets reread, and there was so much, right? From 24 hours, now the attention span for you to communicate something is less than 5 seconds, right? So we are living in that time and age, and therefore not only the new means of communication, but the way the content has to be articulated also has to change to keep up with the times. And I think in this day and age of 160 characters on Twitter, and everybody becoming a content expert, has created a lot of jacks and master of none. So I think it would be an interesting discussion going forward. I think. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ankit sir. Now I request Mr. Yogesh sir to kindly deliver opening remarks.
Yes, good morning all. Firstly, let me congratulate DY Patil Institute for thinking such a very different course, which will be gathering the needs for digital marketing and the media as well, because whatever we discuss here as a part of our course curriculum, as a part of our course called media management, are the things which are slightly different and with a kind of different social orientation. As much as we move toward journalism, we try to think about the social aspects of the field, but at the same time, when we try to think about the marketing or the digital platforms, we need to take care of the business side as well. So with this particular course background, I'm sure that students will be definitely benefited, and not only the students or the prosperous the young talent, but the field as well. So as Swapnil sir or Ankit have already told about the field, so I'm sure that this particular course will definitely provide that kind of manpower. So once again, thank you for giving such a wonderful opportunity to be a panelist here, and once again, congratulations to DY Patil. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all panel members. Now I would like to request Mr. Sumit sir to kindly moderate today's panel discussion. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's start with the the international level where Rishikesh is sitting. Okay. Now my first question, clearly, I'm entering into directly for the questions today. Rishikesh, during the shift of the traditional media to digital media, what are the challenges and opportunities which you see into after this pandemic?
See, I'll take you back a few years ago when I started my journalism in 2005, and we used to write a copy on pen and paper. But especially in the last 3 to 5 years, it has changed drastically. As Swapnil rightly said, that it's very difficult to pull the talent for all these opportunities. I mean, talent crunch is everywhere. I mean, it is not limited only to India. Wherever you go, even in advanced countries like US, UK, or Australia, looking out for appropriate people is a task. And talking about the challenge, the best or the part of technology is you have to be always on your knees. I mean, technology is so it's changing at every second. So the biggest challenge is the pace. I mean, for any IT guys, or whether they are digital marketeers or journalists or bankers, whoever, the time is the technology is changing very fast. So to maintain that pace and to update according to that pace is, I guess, the biggest challenge for us, for everyone, even for the journalists per se. It has changed a lot in the last a couple of years, and because of the pandemic also, pandemic has changed the every dynamic of each and every business. So as I said, it's a biggest challenge is to match up that speed with the technology.
Okay. Thank you, Rishikesh. Now, quickly, I move to Ankit sir. Ankit sir, my question for you is, okay, what are the impacts of the digital, transformation after this pandemic?
I think one thing that everybody has kind of learned during this pandemic is what matters, right? And your whole way of being has changed post the pandemic. So has the way people are consuming communication, right? Uh, it's very important to understand that the dependence, purely from a challenge standpoint, the dependence on social media, which we do not control as media houses, right? It's a huge challenge. Why? Because that reach in digital does not exist with any media house as of today. Okay. Social media is the means through which you are reaching out to people, because there was no preparation beforehand that print will completely be stopped for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and suddenly out of the blue you have to now depend on channels with existing reach to make sure your communication reaches people. During COVID and post COVID, one of the biggest needs of communication arose, that right from in the whole life cycle of COVID, people wanted to know what is happening, what is it that I should be doing, what are the standard operating procedures, when should I wear a mask, when can I take a car out, all those things were there. I mean, the need for communication has never been bigger in such a short period of time, and that has basically opened up a huge challenge as well as an opportunity. The challenge is that over reliance on social media and their algorithms, which we don't control, has and they can change it at the drop of a button, and there's not too much control that you can have over that. Tomorrow if they decide to downgrade your handle, you are done, right? So you can't really do much about it, right? So that's the challenge, and the opportunity actually lies in understanding that with this fast-paced environment, it is survival of the fittest. And whoever doesn't transform in this whole process, their thought process of how to communicate, who to communicate to, and in what kind of format should you communicate to, I think people who are unlearning and relearning, that's where they are going to make most of this opportunity. So the earlier rules don't matter anymore, and now it's an open ground. There's no concept of legacy.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now I'll move to Swapnil quickly. Swapnil, let me take this opportunity now. Since I am also in the print media, you are also in the print media, but you are focusing on the digital media. So what are the change you saw after this pandemic in digital marketing and advertising landscape? If you little bit elaborate, it will be great.
Sure, sir. Thank you for the question. The pandemic opened up a Pandora's box for a lot of businesses and a lot of, I would say, content consumers as well. So luckily for us at Sakar, we were ready. We had built our digital team and we were ready when the pandemic hit us. So we could scale up our digital properties to an extent that we hadn't imagined that this was possible for a regional media outlet. But when it comes to the digital marketing and advertising field, suddenly overnight, all the businesses froze their marketing budgets. They stopped all their outdoor campaigns. By outdoor campaigns, what I mean is hoardings, pamphleting, everything was stopped overnight because there was no audience, there was no print media, there was no print ad, there was nothing. And there was chaos. Now, how do the people, as in all the businesses, reach out to their targeted consumers? So then suddenly, if you guys have realized it, you must all have observed it, there were openings in all companies for digital marketing, all of a sudden, overnight. And people started running campaigns digitally. People had to evolve, small businesses had to, like Ankit mentioned, unlearn and relearn, forget their traditional marketing, switch to digital marketing. the digital marketing budgets of companies shot up. I don't remember the name of the company. I remember reading their annual report. From 6%, it jumped to 23%. They put up that sort of a money, and 23% was somewhere around 560 crores. So that sort of money coming into digital marketing overnight, even the digital marketing agencies were not ready to handle this demand for digital marketing suddenly. So it has been a complete turnaround for the digital marketing and advertising industry. If you have traveled to Mumbai by any chance during the pandemic or after the pandemic, you will see a lot of empty hoardings. You would see that now the advertisement real estate is lying idle. Because let me give an example. Putting a hoarding in a prominent location for a month will cost you somewhere around 5 to 10 lakh rupees. And you cannot measure how many people will look at that hoarding, who has looked at that hoarding, when has he looked at an hoarding. But in 500 rupees, you can reach the same audience on digital media, and you can measure and retarget the person who has seen your ad. So the major change that the advertising agency had to face was now everything could be measured. They would give vague numbers to the businesses that yes, these are the eyeballs that we grabbed, but now that cannot happen. So I believe, sir, to answer to your question is the basic point I saw was the change in the profession altogether. So now advertising and marketing ecosystem has become digital advertising and marketing ecosystem.
So there is a more transparency now, Swapnil, in this
Yes,
old.
sir. Yes, 100%.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that is the best part of technology. It brings transparency to the operations.
Everything is measurable, sir. No one can lie anymore.
Yeah. It's black and white, all in
Yes.
black and white.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Swapnil. Now I'll move to Yogesh. Yogesh, I would like to ask you one question. Since you are a content writer, so many articles you have already been written. You are associated with Sakar Times, Maharashtra Times. Your latest, which I read yesterday, that is, Ghost of Social Media, that is story of the social media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my question to you is, what is the role, content writing role in digital media industry? How you look after?
So basically, we need to firstly consider that each and everybody is a content writer nowadays. Now, what we need to think is whether those are professional content writers or they are having just as an hobby, or say just for fun they are writing. When we try to consider them as professionals, then we need to think somewhat the professional background, professional ecosystem we need to take care of. So people need to understand that this particular difference first, that whenever you need to think about those professional aspects, we have been into the KRAs and those all compulsions. As I think Swapnil sir or Ankit sir have said a little bit about it. We have very limited deadlines, and as the hobby we have no deadline. But when you are like recruited as the professional content writer, there will be a deadline to write the content, and when it will be a particular deadline for few hours, or nowadays when you write for Twitter or for Facebook page, so the content writing is in few minutes or just immediately after that. So we need to be creative in that sense firstly. Whoever is thinking about that kind of a content writing, they need to be creative, as well as they need to understand the importance of time. Means the breaking news scenario is already gone, because digital already the things are getting break continuously on say the Twitter or those digital platforms. So we need to firstly understand that digital have changed the earlier scenes totally. And as all these panelists are talking about the particular business environment, the ecosystem that is continuously forcing the field of the media and communication industry. And I'm not only talking about the field of journalism, but whenever we need to consider journalists as the content writers, then nowadays we are not only the content writers. When we try to think about the content generation, the content the process of content curation is there, the process of content writing is there. Then after, when we try to go on those online big platforms, then nowadays the issues with those misleading facts, fake news, and these all misinformation scenarios are there. So we need to know how to means just verify these things, and how to fact check these things. So whenever you are going to think about the digital ecosystems, you need not only to be limited about the writing, but you need to know the creative writing, the time limits. Along with that, you need to do a proper way of verifying the facts, and then you need to present your content, because people are there and they knew many more things than what we know. So we need to take care of such kind of a audience as well.
Okay. Okay, Bob. Quickly, this story of the social media was a positive side or a negative side?
Yeah, it is in that sense, it was a positive side, sir.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We all are from print media, so I just
Yeah,
want to take
yeah.
that concern whether it is a positive or a negative.
Yeah, but just before few days, I wrote a particular article for Saptahik Sakar, and it was about the issues that currently going on there with these big media platforms, and how we need to think about these big tech platforms. So
Okay.
it is about the public service media, current one. Yeah,
Because nowadays what happened in internally print media
yeah,
also,
yeah,
well, media industry, there's a two group. There's a one media which is print media. There's
yeah,
another group which taking care of digital media like Swapnil.
yes,
So
yes,
there will be also a fight between
yeah, yeah,
internally fight. Okay.
yes, sir, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Ajay, quickly, after this, after doing the MBA in digital marketing, what do you think? Does MBA students or a youth has a career in as a content writer?
So not only about the content writer, means they will definitely can judge the quality of the content. Means
Okay.
means I'm not aware about the syllabus what DY Patil Institute have framed for these guys, but I'm sure that they will be definitely taking care of these things, because nowadays we are continuously facing the kind of force from the digital side as well as the content side. Means the digital thing, you need to know the technologies, you need to know those all technical aspects like SEOs and what else. Means you need to know that kind of a background. Along with, when you are thinking about the content, it is not only about the generation.
Okay.
So you need to take care of your brand itself. What kind of content will be publicized through your brand, and what will be its impact? Because nowadays people are very vocal, and they are vocal immediately. Means they start tagging you, they start asking you back. They will definitely backfire you if you try to write something else. And by the way, we need to understand that digital platforms are much more opinionated platforms. Whenever it comes to those opinions, people will definitely ask you questions, and these guys need to know how to tackle with those opinions, and those who can play with opinions can play on digital very easily.
Okay. Thank you, Yogesh.
Sorry,
Thank you.
if I could just add to what Yogesh
Sure, sir,
is
sure.
saying.
Yeah, yeah,
If you want to see an analogy between what print media was and what digital media is, so somebody who's done digital marketing is the equivalent of an editor. Okay, an editor is somebody who used to know what is the pulse of what people want to read, right? They would exactly know what kind of response, what kind of opinion should go into the paper, which will allow people to absorb that and then have the best response. A digital marketer's job is to know enough of content and to be able to curate it, to understand that, and with the help of tools, of course. So earlier it was all about experience of the editor, right? Now it's all about knowing the tools which will help you to understand what kind of response each content is going to generate. So that's the analogy between a print and a digital, and a role of a digital marketer in today's date. So that's just
Basically now it is a customer oriented market, you can say, right? Earlier it was a one side market. So now it is more about what customers need. We have to first think of that.
You're absolutely right. I think it has always been about what customer wants, but the problem was that it was earlier dependent on the whims and fancies and the opinions of a few.
Yeah.
Right. Now it is more data backed.
Okay.
Even though I tend to kind of have a different opinion on how transparent social media is,
right,
or the new age platforms are. I mean, there are enough and more bots out there to basically skew that as well. But having said that, it is much more transparent as compared to you know, the earlier traditional mediums.
Yeah, right, sir, right. I'll move to Rishikesh. Rishikesh, how can the management graduate make a career in Australia if he wants to come to Australia after digital marketing from DY Patil?
No, it is. See, I'll say grass is always green at the other side.
Okay.
So, there are pros and cons being living in other countries. But what has
Very
happened? We
nicely
must
put.
understand.
Very
Sorry?
nicely put, sir. And just sorry to interrupt you, but very nicely put. The grass is always greener on that.
Yeah. Thank you. See, basically, we should understand that whether it is Australia, UK, US, or any other countries, um, uh, what is the basic need of these countries? Because all these countries have flourished because of the migrants. Classic example is America. Uh, of course, Australia is not an exception. And earlier, what used to happen is basically what kind of skill set that particular country need is very important. Being in Australia, it is they have flourishing sectors like mining. Mining is very important over here. Mining, dairy, agriculture. So these are the important sectors, and you have many opportunities in it. Plus, I must say healthcare would be the very important sector in near future, especially after the COVID. Healthcare is going to flourish like anything, I must say. And and in these all advanced countries, we have seen how the healthcare systems have collapsed in all the countries. You take Europe, you take America, you take any other countries, the so-called well advanced, well developed countries. COVID has had given a very tight slap on all these countries. So coming back to your point is, when you think of migrating to such countries, please try to understand what kind of opportunity it has. Earlier in Australia, if you're running a beauty parlor, you are welcome here. So that kind of a manpower they have needed, but no longer it is needed now. I mean, as I said, healthcare, mining, manufacturing, these are the flourishing sectors if you really want to migrate to in these countries. So try as much as to adopt the skill sets, especially of course digital marketing is one of the major key factors. But again, try to understand or try to study all these aspects before you migrate to these countries. I hope I have made it very clear to all.
Rishikesh sir,
Yeah.
very nicely you presented the picture in general, but particularly in context with this digital space media industry. Could you throw some more light on what are the opportunities in Australia vis-a-vis India?
Yeah, as compared to India, I'll be very honest with you. Media scenario is not very great. It is not that lucrative over here. In India, you have plenty of opportunities. And what happens? Obviously, they will in a field like media or newspaper or any news channel, they prefer local talent. It's a catch-22 situation over here. If you have a local experience, you're most welcome. But since you all came all the way from any country, whether it is India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they will of course prefer the local experience, especially for the media guys. I have faced this a lot. So this is my personal experience. So what happens is, as I said, it's a catch-22 situation. So no local experience, no job because you don't have the local experience. So I'll give you a very simple example. If you're working in a Mumbai, Pune, and if an XYZ guy came all the way from Africa, and he wants to join any of the media organization, the first question the editor will ask, what kind of knowledge you have about the Pune city or about Mumbai or any Chennai, Bangalore, etc. Same situation, same condition is here. So in media, it's very challenging to rope in over here. So that is my personal opinion about it. It is not that easy, I must say. I'll be very honest about it.
Okay, Rishikesh, one more quick question for you. in your opinion, how a digital marketing guy make a career as a content writer? What kind of focus he has to do? He has to do he has to become as a content writer for particular site or particular channel or particular this.
Uh, even these days, for the writer, he needs to adopt some of the techniques. Of course, digital is very important aspect, and plus, very important thing is he must have a passion for writing. I mean, unfortunately, what has happened, writing has not taken very seriously in the last few years, whether it is India or any other part of the world. Of course, it's a very serious business. Writing is not that easy, and in what sector are you going to write is also important. You have to be a very knowledge expert into it. So it's, first of all, it's a very serious business, and you have to have a flair for writing and passion for writing. That would be the main, and because that is not being taught. Digital skills you can easily adopt, you can learn, but writing somehow is what that really needs. It's a passion. It's a very serious thing, I must say.
As Ankit sir has already mentioned that nowadays in social media, after after 1 hour, he said 5 minutes, but after 1 hour the content has to be changed. People are looking for new content, some new innovations, which Ankit sir has said earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So same he has to do to adopt while to become the content writer for particular site, right? What is in your
Sometimes too much of information is also dangerous. That is what happening these days.
Okay. Coming back to Ankit sir, to you, which are the digital product which focus on the citizen engagement in your opinion?
See, I don't want to go into details of what kind of products list, but my sense is, instead of giving you the fish, I'd rather give the students the concept of how to fish. Okay. Most important thing to do while you are engaging with your customers or citizens is to have a tool where you understand not just what they are stating as a preference. Okay. You need to be able to understand their behavior on the platform. Okay. I'll give you a simple this thing, and anybody who has done surveys, even as an academician would understand that, when you ask somebody to actively participate in a survey, most of the times there is a respondent's bias, right? But that's not what you will see when you are, understanding their behavior when they feel they are not being watched. Okay. As a marketer, you can sell to your client the stated needs. Okay. But the client will not be able to sell the product till the time you know the unstated need, because that's where the business is, right? So as a digital marketer, first and foremost thing to assess is that if you are onboarding your customers or citizens on a particular platform, whether it is government, whether it is you are working for the government, or whether you are working for anybody who's advertising, first and foremost thing is understanding whether you will know enough about the people, who is it, and what is it that they want. If you know these two things, you will have a bang on marketing strategy. Okay. And right execution will give you proper results. The challenge with most of the current platforms is that they will give you summary level understanding. For example, if I'm doing an advertisement on, say, Facebook, right? I will be able to select my audience, their preferences, but number one, they are all stated preferences. Okay. They are actually not unstated preferences, although the social media people are tracking it, but it is not made available in the advertisers panel. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that you do not know who you are communicating to. It's only the platform who knows that. So any learning for a digital marketer doesn't happen when you use black boxed platforms like these, right? So essentially these are black boxes where you don't know what's going on inside. You use a panel, you put up an ad, and then you hope that you have reached the right audience, right? So there is a trust involved. There is no transparency, right? So that's where, I feel that there is a slight gap in what a marketer should look at in terms of a platform. There are platforms where you want your own CRM to be implemented,
Right.
which I would recommend to every digital marketer out there, that, you should always be in control of data. You cannot have summary level data. You will always be shooting in the dark. You will, if a marketer comes back and tells you that, okay, tell me how many people did you communicate with? You'll say, okay, 3,000 people. Can you tell me the demographics of those people? Yes, I can tell you, because Facebook provides that. I'm just taking example of Facebook, and you can, just assume that it's extrapolated to all of them out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you say, can you get me some feedback from 5 of these 3,000 people? You're stumped, because there's no way you can get to them.
Right.
So where does the feedback loop come in, right? So it's very important to have your feedback loops in place. And that is why I'm saying you need to be in control of data of the people who you are communicating to, and what is it that they are thinking, not saying. So that's extremely important.
Right. Thank you, Ankit sir. Now I'll go to Swapnil. As Ankit sir has already said that you should know, you should have your CRM data. Customers should ask for the CRM data. So what is in your mind? What is in your opinion to this? Since you are in the direct marketing right now, so you're also doing same with your customer.
So, sir, Ankit used a term called black box
Right.
platforms.
Right.
So essentially, Google, Facebook, all of these come under that category.
Okay.
They do not give you access to the person who is actually on ground. You do not know his name. You don't know anything.
Right.
It's called marketing or targeting based on cohorts. By cohorts, I mean groups of people segregated according to their interest areas and behaviors.
Yeah.
So what happens is we have in digital marketing, we use this term called first party data, second party data, third party data.
Mm-hmm.
So with Facebook, Google, it's mostly third party data, second party data or third party data for that matter. It's a mix of both that we operate on. But what really digital publishers like us need is first party data, because we want to know who is our consumer.
Mm-hmm.
What does he like reading? When does he read it? So that we can give him more of it. What are his interest groups, so that we can show him those ads which are relevant to him. So for example, let's take Sumit sir's example. Sumit sir might like reading. And what if I keep showing him ads for trekking, which do not make any sense to him? So if I'd rather show him a book ad based on what his interests are, I as a marketer will be more successful, because Sumit sir is more probable to buy that book rather than trekking gear.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get access to that first party data, then that is like a gold mine for me. And to access that gold mine, there's a huge premium involved, because then we have to implement technologies which cost almost like 1.5 CR a year.
Right.
They do not come cheap. And again, they have been created by players like Adobe, Lotomi,
Mm-hmm.
Google. So they don't want to give us this data, so they charge a premium for it. So like Rishikesh sir mentioned, a catch-22 situation, and this is a similar catch-22 situation. If you want first party data, you have to pay through the nose, or otherwise completely forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that, because business and are also doing same thing. We have a online newspaper, and where the customer advertising, they ask for the data.
Correct.
We also give the same
Correct.
answer. So
Correct.
that is correct. Okay. Now my
So
second
in
question
future
to you
also.
only. Yeah, Rishikesh. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
as far as the media or the newspapers are concerned, future would be the digital copies. What future? It is happening. I mean, if you say it's all subscription based, even in advanced countries, you get a newspaper at the cost of minimum 250 rupees, and
Right.
and that is, we don't have that luxury to be delivered at home. It is very expensive, and even for the digital subscription, it is not cheap at all. I must say in India, we have this ultimate luxury of newspaper delivered to your home and in just 5 rupees or 10 rupees max. So please, please take full advantage of that ultimate luxury of life. I must say.
In India, every company is doing that, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll now move to Swapnil again. Swapnil, how degree program in digital marketing helpful for the career in media and publication industry, from your opinion, since you are in your core marketing right now in digital core marketing with Sakar?
Right, sir. So I'll put it this way. I would say a management degree in digital marketing helps the student to look at the big picture, not just limit himself to one domain. So for example, under digital marketing, you have social media as a domain, you have content curation, creation as a domain, you have video production as a domain. Again, SEO, SEM, all these things are different domains. But when you have a management degree in digital marketing, you do not limit yourself to anything. You look at a bigger picture and you look at yourself as a leader in the digital marketing domain, where you can run teams of which SEO professionals will be a part of, SEM professionals will be part of. So a digital marketing field is also constantly evolving. So for example, tonight I go to sleep, Facebook will look different. Tomorrow morning I wake up, Facebook is again completely changed, right? So the dashboard changes, the buttons change, everything changes. Again, then you have to do your research, what goes where, the targeting has changed. So a management degree will be a ball changer in this sort of a current situation. And if DY Patil as an institute is bringing in excellent faculties who are present in the industry at the moment, who survived the pandemic, basically, those people will be able to train these people, our students, to an extent that when they pass out, they'll hit the ground running.
Okay. So hopefully we are looking for some kind of a summer internship with Sakar Digital Group in future.
Sir, just good, sir, that you brought this up. So at Sakar, we have created a talent pool. So at any moment, we have 20 interns constantly with us across all, minimum 20. We keep adding more. And these interns are across locations. So we have 12 business locations in Maharashtra.
Okay.
So these interns operate out of all these locations, and also Goa for our Dainik Gomantak newspaper.
Right.
And so IT mein, there is this culture called bench culture. I hope everybody knows there are always people on the bench, so that when someone leaves, so we've kind of created a bench in Sakar. So instead of going and hiring fresh people from outside, the interns that we have honed for 6 months, 3 months, whatever the duration is, we give them first priority. They get jobs. And the interns help us bring a fresh perspective, because I am rather blunt about this, but if you continue with the same people for a long time, they go into comfort zones. And in digital media, we cannot afford comfort zones.
Okay.
So interns come and shake that comfort zone. They create new avenues for us, for content, for everything, basically. So Sakar is always open to welcome your interns.
Thank you, Swapnil sir. Thank you for this. And really taking, sorry to interrupt in between, but taking opportunity of this platform, I would like you all to be there with us as advisors and mentors for our students, because even we are very new with this course. So please be with us in the beginning till and groom us well for this course.
Yes.
Sure, ma'am. And I don't know about the others in the panel, but me and Ankit, we've been delivering visiting lectures to quite of institutes. I also teach in Indira and MIT. Okay. So me and Ankit are used to this, and we are in the industry, so we are here to deliver.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now
we should run a separate program for journalists also. They need to adopt these techniques. I mean, Swapnil must be knowing how backward journalists are these days to adopt all these things.
Yes.
Right.
It's
Thank
high
you.
time they should
Agreed,
learn all these
Rishikesh sir.
things.
Excellent point.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Swapnil. And we are looking for long-term association with everyone. And now I'll go to Ankit sir because so many times he was waiting. Ankit sir, two quick questions for you. One, what are the opportunities for the students of MBA in digital marketing in smart city project? This is the one. And second question, from your opinion, if somebody wants to start a business, okay, in same platform, what kind of he has to mold himself to start his own business?
Okay. I'll take the first question first,
Yeah,
and then I'll go on to the second one.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
in terms of smart city, I think, see, smart city is just a mechanism, but the need for the government to communicate with people has been there since times unknown. I mean, they are actually a company which is providing services where people are really not paying them, but they pay through taxes,
Okay.
right? Only the payment mechanism has changed. So in all, with all effective, for all effective purposes, it's a customer and a company relationship, right? Communication with the customers is extremely important for them. Smart cities might be there for 5, 10, 15, I don't know, maybe 20 years, doesn't matter. But the way citizens are communicating purely by the virtue of how demographics are changing, the cities will have to communicate with their citizens digitally. There is no doubt about it. And this whole process has been fast-tracked with COVID. Last 2 years, if you see any complaint that is being sent to the any municipal corporation or a state level government, nothing has happened physically. It's all digitally done, right? All taxes are being paid digitally. There's hardly, so I'll give you a small example, and it's very important. It's transaction, right? So the property tax collection in, say, Thane city was about 15% online. Since the last 10 years, it rose from 5% to 15%. This year, till now, 46% of the total tax has been collected, out of which 86% is online.
Okay.
So effectively 32% from 15%, it has already jumped, and they have only collected 46% as of now.
Okay.
So if you want to understand the shift in the consumer mindset, it's phenomenal. You can see a lot of that shift already translating in the edtech industry. Education used to be, a touch and feel concept, but the edtech companies have really ruled the roost with respect to the consumer behavior change. So to answer your question, there are tremendous opportunities. Every city is hiring a social media cell to manage their communication, to help them with their overall digital transformation. Be it any city, be it any PSU, be it any transport company. Right now, we are handling the complete communication for Orissa State Road Transport Corporation. Imagine a road transport corporation which is flying state level buses, has a digital communication cell. Okay, so the need in the government is not just there, it is very, very urgent, and there is a huge dearth of talent. The key is to open up the officials who have the information, take that information and be able to articulate it in such a way so that people can consume it digitally. So that's the answer to your first question. Do you mind repeating the second question for me again?
Yeah. If youth wants to start after his digital marketing MBA, if he wants to start his own business, startup, so what kind of other activities he should compile do so that he can start his own business?
See, the entry barrier in digital marketing business is actually quite low. That's because the difference in a social media agency who is doing X work and somebody who is doing Y work is very less, because most of them are dependent on the social media channels that exist today, right? The key lies in not who you are working for, but your understanding of what will generate what kind of response. If you are able to do that, you will, in order to have a full-blown social media agency, you will need the right kind of content writers. And if you are starting up, my suggestion is have access to hordes and hordes of freelancers.
Okay.
Okay. The moment you are building a asset heavy model where there are people on your payroll and today you want to write about technology, tomorrow you want to write about culture, day after tomorrow you want to write about politics. How do you get 3 people or 4 people to write about all this? They can't become experts on everything.
Right, right.
So the key is to build an asset light model with respect to content generation. Why? One is because it makes more financial sense. Second is the sheer exposure of freelancers who are working in that space. The quality of their content is going to be far better than a generalist who is writing about everything under the sun, right? So from a content creation perspective, have as many freelancers as possible. From the perspective of graphic designing, use tools. Please don't do graphic designing from scratch. It's too passe. I mean, you want to create a video, please use Quick. Don't sit with the iMovie or Maya or whatever. Don't do that. People don't want it. You are going for quality content and digital marketing, quality content. You don't require 3D content, right? What you require is quick speed. That's the key. And there are enough and more tools out there. Master those tools. Plus minus 10% in creativity is fine, but you have to be there, right? So it's presence is important. So asset light model, good use of tools, and fair amount of selling capability. You need to know how to tell a story. Customers' needs don't change much. It's the way you spin a story around how you are going to address their need that will help. So I'm sure that DY Patil course is also going to teach them how to do selling, because business does not come from operations, it comes from sales. And of course you have to have delivery, because that's the sustenance of the business going forward. But as a startup, you really need to know how to sell.
Then you want to say first he has to take a 1 or 2 years experience work with some company and then probably start his work.
I don't think so. I mean, it's a mixed bag. If you have the right passion, a company at best can help you to learn processes. They can help you to maybe fund you so that you can then fund your startup. But having said that, there is no right formula to doing a startup. If you get the basics right, I think 2 years or 1 year is enough to actually understand the domain enough.
Right.
And if you want to start up, you can start from day zero. It doesn't take much of capital. You don't have to really work for 2 years and get everything under the sun. Maybe 6 months is also enough. It all depends on how sharp the boy or the girl is. And once you are in the market, your learning is far better than being in an organization.
Practical experience is the most important point.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you. Now I'll move to quickly Yogesh. I was going through your biodata yesterday, which I saw there is Madhyamancha Gati Se Rajkaran.
Yeah.
I need some little bit elaborate. What is that? It is a positive, negative, and what is it? Media about print media or overall media?
No. So it is not only about the print media, but it is all about the media scenario here in our country, and it is specifically written with special reference to the politics. So what happened in past with consideration of the print media, then how the television have changed our own political scenario, and what happened after the rise of social media. So that particular article was all about that, and how the changes happened. And now what is the scene? So basically, if you remember the Gujarat election, before Gujarat election, we had those WhatsApp forward issue, and we cannot forward more than 5 people at the same time. So that was the first time when we came across such a policy. And what happened later is all about that politics. And similarly, so slowly we are moving toward these policies. And right now, even Rishikesh is there in Australia. So Australia first is there with that kind of policy, and they are fighting with those big techs.
Right.
So here, what we started to do is all about that, and we are now trying to deal with Twitter and Facebook, and those guys are now trying to deal with us.
Right. Right.
So means when we try to think about the digital scene, it is not only about the content, but it is all about those policies. And means in our field, we try to think about that platform capitalism and those all things where we need to think with respect to their policies as well, and what will happen to our content if we are into the content side. So means as Swapnil sir or Ankit have also told that particular experience, when the algorithms change, what happens then after? So we need to change a lot, and that kind of a mindset we need to have when we are thinking about digital. So it will not only about to be very much what you need to be adaptable.
Okay.
And adaptable in that sense, you need to cope up with the pace of not only about the technology but current happenings. And when you are thinking about the field of media, much more specifically when you are trying to be into the news media, you need to know those all happenings going around. So that is all about the field, the current field.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Krish. See, everybody's talking like both, the digital persons like Ankit sir and Swapnil both are talking about content writing, innovative. Then you have to deliver on time, like that. But if you see past, when 1990, when I joined first in Indian Express, our editor used to talk about, we should know the nadi of the reader. आपल्याला वाचकांची नाडी जर समजली, then you can your paper can be run fastly. Because of that, when Dr. Kulekar sir was there in Sakal group, you remember those days. Kulekaranचा एक दरारा होता. That time when he entered, nobody can stand in front of Mr. Kulekar sir because he was so powerful, in his writing skill and all. And because he has understand what exactly Pune people needs to read. So Nadi ji आपण म्हणतो मराठीमध्ये Nadi. So same, they are also talking about content in social media that is called Nadi. So if you know the Nadi of the social media, and if you do some innovations and put some new kind of a thing, then you can be very much have clarity on that part.
Yes.
I think most of the questions had been cleared, but still I'll move to Dr. Vishal sir, so he has something to say. Then we have some one or two questions which I take it. So Vishal sir, over to you.
Okay, sir. Yeah. So I was very fortunate to be a part of this panel discussion today because one, the topic is the need of the hour. Two, because we are going to launch a new course in MBA in digital marketing. We all are also getting an opportunity to learn so many things related to the field through this panel discussion. Only one thing which I would like to say here is, generally, and the purpose of what I'm going to contribute is basically, this information can be consumed by the students, existing students, as well as any interested students in such type of courses. Now, generally, what happens is for students, the question in mind always is what kind of knowledge or what kind of skill set do I need to develop, so that in this particular domain I can be employable, either employable or I can be equipped enough to start my own venture, right? So, in my opinion, probably the skills can be divided into two parts: soft skills and hard skills. And we all know what are the soft skills, communication skills, negotiation skills, interpersonal skills, and all that. Now, irrespective of the domain, those skills are going to remain the same. These are pretty basic. And if any professional wants to be successful, that is the basic need of anybody. I'm not going to focus in anything on that. Now, because we're talking about the digital domain, I think the new technologies are the hard skills which every student need to think about and acquire to be employable in these spaces. I have tried to put them into 4 buckets. These technologies are also the hard skills which students are going to require in this particular domain. The first is digital marketing. Second is analytics. Third bucket is a combination of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotics. Okay, and fourth is cloud computing. I think these are such technologies which, depending on the domain, everybody is going to need, maybe in different combinations. Okay, and the beauty of these technologies is that if you are in this domain, okay, may you be, specifically a content writer or digital marketer or a data scientist or whatever, in some or the other combination, you are going to need all of them. Okay, you, even if you are not expected to work hands-on on a particular of this technology, probably you need to know about it to get it done from somebody else. Okay, as it was rightly put by Ankit sir, to get it even done from a freelancer also, you need to know about it first. Okay, so what we have thought at DY Patil Institute is we already had analytics as one of the specializations under MBA. Analytics is also very well taught to the students of MCA. Now we're going to launch a program of MBA in digital marketing. Okay, so these two technologies, digital marketing and analytics, these two domains, we are going to take care of. For remaining two, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and cloud computing, we are also in the process of setting up a center of excellence at institute level, where we want to give enough opportunities to the student to be a part of that and learn, all upcoming technologies in these domains. University has done, SPPU has done its part to beautifully design the curriculum and the syllabus of all these subjects. Now, what we think is, we as an institute has our also responsibility to go a step further and try to give the practical exposure to the students of these domains. So for that, what we have done is we have already established a digital marketing club at institute. Two, we are in the process of setting up an analytics club at institute. Okay, and we are also in a process, as I just now said, we are also in a process of setting up a center of excellence. So our plan is that our own digital marketing and the digital marketing of other institutes in our group, okay, will be handled by the digital marketing club, which we have at institute level. Not only that, we are very fortunate that we are located in Pimpri, so we have an access to so many small and medium businesses in the central industrial area. Okay, from where we can source a lot of digital marketing projects, almost like an agency business. Okay, for ourselves. And the entire purpose of this is that our students will get live projects, hands-on experience to learn these technologies very well, because we don't want our students to only be restricted to the university syllabus theoretically. Now, these clubs are being conceptualized, okay, in such a way that they will be faculty-led, student-managed, alumni supported, and industry mentor. We want all the stakeholders to be equally involved, okay, in such a way that whichever stakeholder is experienced and expertised in a particular area, they will be contributing in this. Okay, so we have started taking baby steps into this, and we have a vision that fortunately we are the first institute under SPPU to get an opportunity to launch this course. But that is one side of it, like we are getting an opportunity to do that. The other side is that we have got a lot of responsibility also, because we are also the first institute. We got a lot of responsibility. How do we run this course, so that for all other institutes which are going to follow us, it will be a model set for them. Okay, it will be a leading by example sort of thing. So just wanted to say this. And one more thing, probably the last thing from my side is, what we have done is, in the conceptualization of this entire thing, we have also tried to keep our placement department in loop of everything, because ultimately the industry resources, whether it is purely an industry person or our alumni who are there in the industry, okay, they are going to be basically sourced for all these interventions through placement department. Point number one. point number 2 is whatever is going to be created as a value for students, okay, through this, that has to be marketed by placement department only at the end. Okay, so we have kept a placement department as a focal point into this, and as a completely new model in the domain of management education, we have tried to envisage this as, okay, and we have already started working on it. We are seeking the guidance, cooperation, and blessings from all of you. Okay, and we look forward to going this way, in this space in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal sir. We have one question which has come from the Akshar Patil, and it is for Ankit sir and Swapnil, both of you. He's rightly said that business are moving to digital marketing from traditional marketing. So it will be going to affect on digital marketing industry or not? Presently, those are doing in digital marketing.
Swapnil, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Ashray has asked that question, correct? So Ashray, buddy, the impact is only positive on the digital marketing industry, because there's no negative impact to it. People are moving towards digital marketing by flocks. By flocks, I mean groups. So the impact is only positive. There is going to be a lot of change in this domain. There are going to be more opportunities. There will be more learnings, and one disadvantage that I see is the ecosystem getting crowded in the ad space. What I mean is, if suddenly all businesses switch all their ads to digital, there will be a hammering on the consumer. And there is something called a eCPM. So for example, when you show ad, you earn some money online as a publisher. So if you go to Sakar's website, you will see some ads, and Google pays us for those ads. So the eCPM, when there are too many ads, goes down. So for example, if I'm earning 100 rupees right now, I might earn 60, 70 because of ads. So that is one impact that I see on the media side. But as a digital marketing, the world is your oyster now. If you are a digital marketer at the moment, this industry is going to grow by leaps and bounds in the near future.
Okay. There's one more question. This Mayur Bagad has sent. How we can secure our information from the hackers or scammers?
ये अंकित का डोमेन है, hardcore.
Ankit sir.
See, you have no control over that as of today. As a digital marketer who's using third-party tools, you are completely dependent on the third-party tool security and their security architecture to actually secure your customers. Having said that, one key thing that has happened in the industry is I don't know whether, and you all should actually try and source the document on data protection bill that was tabled in 2019. Although it is not passed yet, but as soon as pandemic is over, the government is making sure that equivalent to a European Union's GDPR law, there is a India Privacy Protection Act that will come in. Part of that is what Google has right now done by making sure that you cannot store cookies, through Chrome. And Chrome has about 90% market share in browsers. So essentially, browser is what is the most easy to sniff in terms of security. So making sure that the cookies are not there. While Google is doing it for its own business reasons, but it will lead to better security for the clients. But then again, there will be one company who has access to your complete information. So you can never fully protect yourself digitally or your clients digitally. It's always better to exercise caution while using these digital products rather than worrying about the security of what you have exposed. right? So, and I think as digital marketers, if you try and get that message across to your customers, they will have far better loyalty to you as compared to, you trying to get more and more information out of them. Be very cautious about, what kind of data you collect. Unless you have a business use case for it, don't try and collect it. It's a liability to have customers' data with you, right? Unless you have an asset in your balance sheet which is helpful against that liability, don't even go there. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, thank you, Ankit sir. Now we move to another questions. Okay, what are the post-pandemic strategy for digital marketing, or all our strategies will remain same? This is for, I think, Swapnil.
The strategies will have to be changed. We cannot continue with the old strategies because the digital penetration also increased during the pandemic. So a lot of new customers or new target audience came on board. For example, most of us now have a second SIM card with Jio in their phones. Rarely will you come across a person who is using one single, and that too Vodafone Idea or Airtel. So because of that, what has happened is suddenly the digital marketing campaign manager. So for example, by campaign manager, which is of course is an opportunity for the students. It's a very beautiful role. A campaign manager basically runs campaigns through Google and Facebook to target people. So a campaign manager suddenly has access to more audience. तो पहले अगर वो 50 लोगों को टारगेट कर सकता था, now he can target 500. So the budgets have to be spread evenly. He has to segregate that audience. He has to figure out which strategic importance to give to which audience, and then target them. So during the pandemic, for example, taking Sakad as a business, our digital traffic grew by around 100%. And suddenly we had to cater to an audience which was non-existent before the pandemic. ये लोग paper पढ़ रहे थे, and suddenly they started reading digital. So Google, of course, captured all their interest through third-party cookies, and now they put it as a targeting option for a campaign manager. So now suddenly the the campaign manager can target more people coming to Sakad Media. So the old strategies went for a toss. So now it's about masses. Pehle there was a niche crowd that was on digital. You could target high-class society on digital. That is not there anymore. The masses, the classes, everybody's there on digital. So now the old strategies have to be dumped, and of course new ones have to be evolved.
Now we'll take a last question that is come from the Samitro. Does the small and medium scale industry have enough financial budget to have a DM full-flooded? Swapnil?
Ankit mentioned a point about freelancers. So small businesses do not need to hire a full-fledged digital marketer or a team.
Okay.
So there are websites like Fiverr.com, Fiver.com. If you go to these websites, there are freelancers who get work done for you in as low as $5. So somewhere around 300 rupees. So you don't have to have a full-fledged team or a digital marketer in-house. There are 10,000 freelancers available in the market. There's a website called Upwork also, UPWRK, where you get a lot of freelancers. Sakad also has changed its policy to that extent. We have started working with content freelancers. So for example, our finance section is completely run by freelancers. We have identified influencers in finance, and they are working for us. So even a small restaurant, like in Mumbai, we have these Podi Bhaji Kendra, roti sabzi, basically they sell. Even they can afford digital marketing. It's very cheap.
Now we can move to the madam for thanks note. We had already finished with the questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all panel members. Now I request Dr. Tejashree Talla, Madam, MBA HOD, to deliver word of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to one and all present here. It has been our pleasure to host all the participants of the panel discussion on career opportunities and challenges in digital media at DYPIMR. The participants were very enthusiastic. I am thankful to all the participants for attending it. We have been fortunate to have an eminent speakers as panel members from academia and industry. I am sure that the participant must have benefited by attending this forum. I, Dr. Tejasri Talla, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil, Institute of Management and Research, is proposing vote of thanks on this occasion. I am thankful to our management for giving us the opportunity to hold such a session at the Institute. I am also very thankful to Dr. Somnath Patil sir for continuous support and advices which have greatly helped towards the success of the organization of this forum. I extend my thanks to our director, Dr. Meghna Bilare, Associate Director, Dr. Vishal Vajadkar sir, and Mrs. Manisha Pawar ma'am for taking the initiative for hosting such a forum and also for their inspiring mentorship. I would like to express my gratitude to an esteemed delegates of the panel discussion for their presence and contribution to make this a great success. I want to thank Mr. Rishikesh Joshi, Mr. Swapnil Malpatak, Mr. Ankit Bhargava, Mr. Yogesh Borate for giving valuable inputs throughout this session. I personally thank to Mr. Sumit Gupta sir for moderating this session. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on introduction of MBA in digital marketing. I must thank the organizing team, volunteers for working hard for the past few days to make this a successful. Thank you everyone once again for making it a great success. We are very proud to share that we have started with MBA in digital marketing from SPPU. You can get connected with us in case of any queries. Now, I declare that this session is over and all the students of the MBA will join the classes with their respective classes on the scheduled time. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Ankit.
Thank you, Ankit sir. Thank you. Be in touch.
Thanks a lot. Swapnil sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Yogesh bhai.
Yes.
Thank you,
Baba.
Rishikesh.
Yeah.
हा जो कोर्स है तो
हाँ।
ऑनलाइन है का क्लासरूम बेस्ड है?
Classroom based hai, sir, full time.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's like admissions are through CET. It will be central process followed by DT, and it will
Acha.
be Maharashtra CET what they will have to appear for getting into this course or other entrance management entrance exams.
Okay, okay.
In case
Sounds
of
good.
any